Hello everyone, welcome to Mendoza Makes. I'm Michelle Mendoza, and today we are not in the kitchen, we are outside. Because today we are going to be making a Christmas wreath out of things that we find in our yard. So we're gonna try to make the base out of these like pliable sticks that we can wrap around to make the base of the wreath. Hey, this is a good fetching stick. For my wreath. This will be very pretty. Look at that. Very pretty. That's really neat. Here's what we have so far. We have some holly, some of this greenery, this red, some yeast leaves. I think those will be pretty. I think I might take some of this tree up here. That's really pretty and like droopy. See, that's like really pretty. That should be plenty to start with. So now I'm gonna go start putting it together. Okay, so now that I have all the materials that I'm gonna use for decorating and for the base, I'm gonna start by getting those pliable twigs, branches, and molding them and twisting them, braiding them so that they make the wreath shape. You can use a wreath form and some wire if you want to kind of skip this step, but I didn't want to buy anything. The point of it was to just make it out of stuff that we had, so I'm gonna try to use the twigs. So we'll see how that goes. We have some pine and pine cones. I'm going to use these for some red color. And then I just picked different green foliage that I liked the look of and made it look, give me that like Christmas feel. And then of course holly, which is super spiky and I hate it, but it's pretty, so fine, whatever. And then here's my twigs that I'm gonna make the base out of. And then I also have a bag of moss that the husband collected from the roof. I'm gonna use that as moisture so that it'll keep it green longer, hopefully, once it's done. that's gonna be my base so far. I'm just gonna keep adding to it until it's more stable. So I've pretty much gotten it into the thickness and circle-ish shape that I want. You can see I just twisted all the branches together, and the pressure of the branches twisted together is just holding it in this shape. There's a couple sticking out, but what I'm gonna do before I trim those off is secure it with some wire, just to make sure that it stays together. And then I'm also going to use wire to help secure the little bundles that I'm going to put on it of the decorations. So let's do it. What I'm going to do first is create a loop with the wire and give it a good twist on itself so that I can use that to hang it by. Okay, there's my wreath form so far. And the wire will allow me to bend it in more of a circle shape. Ta-da! Next step is to take some of this moss that's going to add moisture and keep our wreath green for a longer period of time. I'm gonna add this kind of, I guess I'll just kind of shove it into the wire that I've created. Not exactly sure how to attach it or if there's a best way, but I'm just gonna see what I can do. So what I've started to do now is make these little bunches of arrangements that I like. I kind of bunched together the different little types of greenery that I found, and then I'm just attaching them. You can shove the stems into the wreath, into the wire that you've already created, or you can just use more wire and wrap it around, depending on the thickness of the branches that you get and the type of material you're using. But I'm just gonna go around the wreath this way until it's all filled. And then I'm also going to alternate, like this one is gonna be kind of facing out, this one will be facing in, and then the next one will be out, and then in, out, in, so that it makes it nice and full. So I'm just gonna do that now. I like that. I made this little bunch that I like the colors, and a little bit of pine, a little bit of red, and I'm just gonna bind it together and stick it on the wreath. Okay, now I've got it pretty much covered how I want it to be covered. So what I'm gonna do now is hang it up and then make any final adjustments. I might trim some of these like super long branches around and make sure that everything's secure so that if there's like a windstorm or something like that, it's not gonna fall apart, because that would stink after doing all this work. So I'm gonna hang it up and see where we go from there. So it actually looks pretty good. Some of these longer bits I'm just gonna trim a little bit shorter because I don't want them sticking out as far. I don't like the look of that. But everything stayed together, so that's good. And when I picked it up, I didn't feel any bits that felt like they were gonna come off. So that's good. I think I might add a little bit of holly in here. I didn't use the holly yet because it is super pokey. And pushing it in it goes right through my gloves. So maybe I'm just not using the right gloves for that. But everything seems to be staying pretty good. I actually ended up using a bit of twine, and that helped keep the bundles that I was making together. So I'd make the little bundle and then tie it with twine really tight and then stick it on the wreath. You can even use the twine to tie it onto the wreath, just however you can make it stay where you want it to be. So I think I'm gonna add the holly, maybe, and then it's done. Looks good. How pokey that is. Stabby, stabby. Death. Ah, please don't poke me. I hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. I love the way it looks. It's so pretty. But it hurts me. I love it and it hates me. Ow! Okay. So I want it to be one glove. We're gonna Michael Jackson this. It goes through my glove, but it doesn't hurt as much. I'm probably being a big baby. It's probably someone laughing at me. You think that holly is sharp? You don't even know. So that's it. That's how you make a Christmas wreath out of stuff from your yard. It's a lot easier for me and my husband because we live in Washington State. So there's evergreen plants everywhere around us. We're both from Southern California, and if we still lived in Southern California, this wreath would look a lot different. So it depends on the plants that are in your area, obviously, what you're gonna find to make your wreath out of. But it's a fun activity. We got outside, we got to do something creative and make something Christmassy that we can now hang in front of our house and enjoy. I personally don't like the idea of buying a lot of decorations because number one, you have to store them somewhere when they're not in season, and number two, they're usually, after a while, you just throw them away and then they just end up in the landfill, and I don't like that. So my husband is a genius. He gets credit for this idea. He came up with the idea during Halloween to make our decorations out of recycled things that we were going to recycle anyway, like pickle jars and tin cans and old Amazon boxes and cardboard and stuff like that. And it was really fun. I like to make things, and like to think that I'm crafty at least. And it was really fun to make the decorations. For Halloween, I made Sally's jars, the Deadly Nightshade, and I cut out silhouettes to put in the window of Oogie Boogie and the hill from Nightmare Before Christmas out of cardboard. So it was really fun making them, and then we got to enjoy them while they were up. And then once the season was over, once Halloween was done, we just recycled them like we would have done anyway in the first place. So it was great. So we're doing the same thing for Christmas, especially since we're in quarantine. We have more time to do those things with our family now. I hope this gave you some ideas for your own Christmas wreath. Maybe go outside and make your own with your family this year. Hopefully you guys like this video. Thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas. Bye.